Hi Stampers, it's Madeline from stampinwithmadeline.stampinup.net, and today we're going to be making an adorable holiday card that I have just fallen in love with. So I found some different tutorials on this diamond fold card, and I think you're just going to love it. So look at this. This opens up into this. Isn't that beautiful? So I like this card because when it sits like this, it looks like one piece of paper behind here. And then when you open it, it has a whole different look on the inside. So today we're going to make this. So let's get started right away. All right. So I did my base in Cherry Cobbler from the Warmth and Cheer paper set in the holiday catalog. So just a reminder, the holiday catalog is going to be done January 3rd. So if you want anything in the holiday catalog, there are tons of cute stuff in there. You definitely want to get buying as soon as you can. So that'll be right on my website, and that's stampinwithmadeline.stampinup.net. So let's get back to this. So the base here is going to be 6 1/4 by 11. So what I have done, and I don't know if you can see this, but I have done score lines along this 11-inch side at 4 inches, 6 inches, and 7 1/2. All right, next we'll get back to this. There's one more step we do on that after you score it. Okay, so now you're going to take some Whisper White cardstock, and what I did was I cut this at 6 inches on both of these, and then this one is going to be 1 1/4 with the width, and this one is going to be 3 1/4. Okay, so that's our Whisper White pieces. Then I just want you to get like a scrap of Whisper White. We're going to be stamping on this our sentiment and our teddy bear and fish, so have an extra set of Whisper White piece of it. Okay, so this is the fun part. You can pick the DSP that's going to be on the inside of the card and on the outside. So what you'll want is 1 diamond and 1/2 diamond, and then from those cuts that you make, you'll get these little excess scraps, and you want to keep those. So these you're going to just cut off the bottom 1/8 of an inch. Just 1/8 of an inch, that way it'll fit in your card better. So keep your scraps from your diamonds. Now, your diamonds, what you're going to do for this first big diamond on the front, you're going to take a DSP paper, the designer series paper, and you're going to cut it to 3 3/4 by 6, okay? And then on the 6th line, you're going to mark it at 3 inches on the top and the bottom. So those are going to be these points. Then you're going to, on the other side, so on the 3 3/4 side, you're going to want to do half on those. So those will be 1 7/8. So what you do is you take your pencil and you mark on all of these. Then you take your cutter and you line up each set of dots. So you would line up the 3 and 1 7/8, and you would cut. Then you do it on this side, 1 7/8 to 3, and you would cut. And you keep doing that so that you get that diamond shape, okay? And then you do the same thing, and you just cut it in half so you can have 1/2 diamond. Okay, so we're going to start again with this garden green. The Cherry Cobbler didn't work out, so we're going to start over and do this garden green, and it'll still match with our designer series paper because of the green side. It does match garden green and the Cherry Cobbler. So again, this is our base, 6 1/4 by 11. So we're going to score it at 4. Bring this down so you can see it. 4. And you can use a scoring tool for this. Oops. But I just have my cutter here that allows me to score it. Okay, so 4 inches, 6 inches, and then 7 1/2. Okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the 4. So get it to the 4, and you want to mark it at 1/2 of 4. So we're going to mark it at 2 inches on both the top and the bottom. You can use a pencil for this if you want. I just like using this because it's easier for me to see. Then you want to do 1/2 of your 6 1/4. So you're going to do 3 1/8, and you're going to just make a little line. Okay, now we want to make our diamond pattern. So what you're going to do is you're going to line up this 2-inch mark that you made, and you're going to line it up with the second score line. Okay, so this is what's going to make our X. So line up your 2-inch mark on here with the second score line. Okay, and we're just going to do this diagonal score. Okay, so line up that 2-inch mark with your second score line. Make sure they're lined up. And we're just going to be creating an X because this is what's going to make our diamond. So again, second score line to the 2-inch mark. Okay, and we're going to do it on the other side. So 2-inch mark, second score line, make sure it all lines up. Do that. So now we have a clear X that we have. Okay, so now you can put that away. Now we're going to crease this. So on all of your score lines, you want to fold and crease it. This just makes it so it's easier to work with. Easier to fold when we put everything together. You really want to get those score lines in. Okay, so now we're going to be making our diamond, okay? So we want to fold these X's that we made, Make sure it's nice and flat. Okay, and then we're just going to maneuver it so that it closes. Okay, and we want to make sure it's nice and straight. Use your bone folder. You can get one of these right on my website as well. Just make sure it's flat. It's a hard card to get completely flat, but just try to score it a lot. Okay, so now we're going to cut our diamond. We want to cut this diamond shape here. So we're going to take our cutter back out, and this is another lining up thing. So you're going to line up the top of this score line with that 3 1/8 mark that we made. Just try to, oh, this side. Let's mark it on both. Okay, so line up the top of your diamond with your mark. Make sure everything is lined up. And then we're going to cut. There we go. Now you can mark or line up the middle of it to the bottom of your point, and then you're going to cut again. Okay, so that is what's going to make our diamond fold. So let me show you. Look at that. We're almost there. Okay, so now that we have made the base, I'm just going to go again and flatten this out. You really want it to be nice and flat so you can nail it out. It will kind of spring up, but as you work it, it will flatten out. Okay, so now that that is done, we're going to start gluing down our pieces. So this is our front, so you could do either side. I'm going to do the red. Okay, so you just want to center this on here, and then when you find where you want it, press down. Okay, so a little mistake I just did is you want it so that when your card opens up, you see these. You don't want to see the back of your diamond. You want to see this part. Okay, so you want it to be this, the insides coming in like that. Okay, so before we start stamping our Whisper White, I'm going to start putting these in. So this is where you can decide what you want these to be like. So you could do the greens if you wanted, the reds, think I'm gonna do the greens. I kind of like how that looks. Okay, so I'm gonna put all of these up here. So I liked doing 2 of them in red and 2 of them in green. Okay, so I'm gonna glue these down. Then you're gonna take your half diamond, you're gonna glue that. I'm gonna do it red. Okay, now you'll need another strip here that is going to be 6 by 1 1/4. Okay, so you're going to take that piece that's 1 1/4, you're going to glue it down. Alright, so now we get to the fun part of stamping. So I am going to be using this adorable stamp set that is Fa La 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 Friends. And I just love the bears in this and the fish. He is just so cute. And we will use this sentiment this time. This is your Christmas card. So I really, I think that is so funny. So as you can see in this, we're going to be doing the little bear and the fish and the sentiment. But on the inside, I just loved using Lovely as a Tree and kind of adding that background to the Whisper White. So there's lots of things you could do instead of the trees if you wanted to, but let's do the trees for this one. So what I first do is I'm going to take this Whisper White paper, and you could sponge around the outsides. I'm just going to edge it with the red ink. So what I do for this is I'm just tapping it into the ink, and you want to be careful you don't put too much. But this is just, if you don't have a sponge around, this is just another quick technique you could do to just make it so that the white doesn't stand out as much. You want it to blend in. So now that that's done, close up your red. Now I'm going to use Emerald Envy, and I'm going to do these trees. Alright, so get your Lovely as a Tree. I'm using this stamp from it. I'm going to tap, tap, tap just to get the full effect. Get all the color on this. See, I made a mistake. Just flip it over. Do it on this side. That's why there is always 2 sides to the paper. Alright. So when you press, make sure you put full force on it. That way you get a clean image like that. So I'm going to do a few trees around here. I will have some off the edges, so you could put some scrap paper so that you don't get ink on your workstation. Alright, so there's one. Now I'm going to do the little piece, and I'm going to do like a tree in the middle and on the edge. There we go. So now these are our inside panels, and they're all set. So you want to leave a little white up here because you could do another sentiment or write a little something or write to whoever you're writing it to. All right. So now we're going to glue that into our card. So this one goes on the inside, the big one. So this one goes right in here. Now we want to do one on this side. So this is a little tricky. You want it to line up nicely so that it looks like one piece of paper before someone opens it. So I lay the card like this, and I just kind of slide this in lightly without tacking it down, and I line it up with the paper on the other side just to make sure that it's lined up nicely, looks like one paper. And then I push it all down. Look at that. So now it has that nice background in there. You could put some trees up here if you wanted to, but I wanted to leave some blank so I could write or stamp a little sentiment here. Okay, so that is it for the inside. Now we're going to work on the fun things on the front. So first, we're going to stamp all of our things. So first, we want to stamp the sentiment. So put it on your block. I'm going to use Real Red for it. You could use whatever color you want. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to tap, tap, tap and make sure all of the letters are nicely stamped. I'm going to use my piercing pad, like I've shown in other videos, so that we get a nice clean image. I'm going to stamp it right in the middle here, press for 3 seconds, lift up. Now we're going to stamp our little cute bear. I'm going to do him in basic black, Archival basic black. So tap, 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 make sure he fully gets covered. So I'm also going to do the fish in black. What we're going to do is color in our fun little guys. So I don't have stays on yet. It is in the mail and coming here. So this isn't permanent ink. So if you start to color with a blender pen or a marker, it will smudge everything. So I really recommend getting stays on or some kind of black permanent ink. You can get that on my website, and that makes it so you can color easily. So I am going to cheat this time and just use some colored pencils to fill in this cuteness. I will use the marker just to fill in the little tree. So I'm using the Emerald Envy just to fill in his little tree on his pajamas. But again, you don't want to ruin your markers and get black all over it. So you need to get stays on in order to get these characters colored in with the blender pens or the markers. So I'm going to color them in. We'll be right back. Okay, so now that they're all colored in, we're going to fussy cut them out. So there are framelits for these guys, but I don't have them, so I'm going to fussy cut them out. Okay, so our characters are fussy cutted out. Now we're going to do our sentiment, and I want to leave a little room on both sides, so I'm going to cut this straight out. I'm going to cut one side into a banner and leave the other straight, so let's do that. Okay, so for your sentiment, you want to look at your card and just see how wide you want it to be. So we want to cut off a little bit of the edges here. And we're going to make this side into a banner. Okay. So trim it up, make it look neat. Then you can lay this out and get your fishy. And he's going to be up here. I like putting him right where it says COD. And then our bear is going to go down here. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to first glue down the sentiment. Okay, and then for the fish and the bear, we're actually going to use Stampin' Dimensionals so that they kind of jump off the page. So Stampin' Dimensionals are something that you can get on my website as well. These make it so that these guys can stand straight off the page, and it makes it look three-dimensional. So what I do is I take one of these and I actually cut it in half. That way I can use one for both of these characters because they don't need a full one. So I'm going to put one on the fishy and one in the middle of the bear. We're going to put the bear down here, center him on there. See how he kind of jumps out a little bit? Then we're going to put the cod up here. Look how cute this card is. So you can make lots of variations of this card, but I really loved this with the trees in the background, and I just love this fish. So here it is, the diamond fold card. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. I love your feedback, so please leave it in the comments below. I am still planning on doing 3 videos a week. I did miss out on one last week because I was at a conference. But I am planning on 3 a week. So please visit my website if you're interested in any of my supplies or me being your demonstrator. Please reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Again, my website is stampinwithmadelyn.stampinup.net. And I'd love to hear from all of you. So thank you so much for the feedback I've already gotten and for subscribing. I am so blessed to have so many subscribers already. So keep watching. I will have 3 videos a week. And again, I hope you liked this card. Let me know if you get to make it. So for now, keep stamping, stampers.